Am I the asshole, M25, for not catering to my GF's intolerance to lactose? F22. Throwaway account. Girlfriend and I have been together for 3 years. My girlfriend recently developed a strong intolerance for lactose. Yogurt and milk makes her stomach hurt really bad, and all other dairy, while tolerable, gives her extreme gas and a sick feeling in her throat. Due to this, my girlfriend has recently developed a dairy-free diet. She refuses to eat any dairy, even the stuff that just gives her gas. I never complained about this, although it made it difficult for me to cook for her, go out to eat since she has so many limitations now. We live separately but visit each other twice a week. Wednesday I go to her house and Sunday she comes to mine. We usually cook for one another on those days. Lately her meals haven't been as good due to all the dairy substitutes, which is fine. This is where I may be the asshole. Last night I made her a pasta dish with heavy cream. I told her to take one of her lactate pills beforehand and she said she didn't want to deal with the gas afterwards, and demanded I get her something else. This slightly annoyed me because I had put in a lot of work for this dish. I told her that while I was fine with eating her food on Wednesday, I don't want to change my eating habits for her. A lot of dairy-free alternatives don't taste as good, dairy-free cheese is awful. And I don't see a point in changing my groceries for one meal when she can just take a lactate pill. She called me a jerk, teared up and went home. I thought she would get over it but she has barely answered my texts. Am I the asshole? Too long did not read. Girlfriend recently developed a dairy allergy and wants me to change my cooking for her. Update. It seems that I am the asshole in this situation. I have apologized to my girlfriend and will make steps to provide dairy-free alternatives for her on my cooking day. I complained see the switch to dairy-free has been hard but I'm sure it's a lot worse for her. Thank you Reddit. You are the asshole. So many levels here but for fuck's sake, you can eat dairy in your meals 5 days a week. Can you seriously not have 2 dairy-free meals per week? You're the asshole so amazingly self-centered and selfish. Since she's cooking on one of the 2 days you see each other, it is literally a single dinner once a week that is dairy-free. I can think of a dozen or so dishes that all work. What the heck is wrong with you? You are the asshole, you are the asshole, you are the asshole, you are the asshole, you are the asshole. You are the asshole. She's dairy-free, and you cook her a meal with dairy? It doesn't sound like taking a lactate would work if she's concerned about getting gas. I'm a vegetarian, and my guy eats meat and doesn't cook, so I frequently make 2 versions of the same meal, for tacos, beef or chicken for him, beans for me. You made her a meal that would make her sick, and you're upset about it? You are the asshole. I have a lactose intolerance and while I do agree that some dairy-free ingredients like cheese taste way different than regular brands, there's a list of substitutes you can use aside from heavy cream like coconut cream. You don't need to change up your groceries to make a fuss over it. If you're cooking for her, then you should cook for her not what you want her to eat regardless of her diet. You are the asshole. If you host a guest you cook something they can eat. You can eat food without lactose, she cannot eat food with lactose. You are self-centered and making light of her discomfort from a medical condition. Hopefully she sees your true colors and realizes your taste buds are more important to you than her medical dietary restrictions. You are the asshole and BTW. There's a buttload of dishes that are delicious and don't require any dairy. Would it be so very awful to just not eat a dairy-laden meal every now and then? You are the asshole. A pasta dish with heavy cream? I get not enjoying dairy-free alternatives but specifically putting a lot of time and thought into making and choosing a dish you know would cause her distress is really a dick move and comes off as a weird power play. Willing to bet this is your soon-to-be ex-GF. You made it clear that you have no regard for her physical well-being and are too self-centered to give up what you want, 2 days a week, to avoid her pain. Am I the asshole for making my cousin take her kids home? This is a throwaway account because my family knows I use Reddit. But I, 33 male and my wife 31, have 4 kids together. Our oldest is 14 and she has severe eczema that she was born with. She recently started using this soap for her eczema that was prescribed to her doctor. And it's over the counter, but I don't remember the brand. And she has a white towel that she can't share with anyone else as directed by her dermatologist. But my cousin was staying with us for the weekend, and she's 32. She has 2 kids that are 13 and 11. But we had spent the day at the park, so you know all the kids are dirty and sweaty. And they all need a shower. Well, my 3 youngest went first, then my cousin's 11-year-old, then the 13-year-old. My oldest goes to get in the shower, and about 3 minutes later she comes stomping out the back. With her towel, soap and eczema cream in hand. Turns out my cousin's kids used her towel, even though we gave them towels to use. Not only that, but they had poured her soap on the towel and into the sink and toilet. And her eczema cream, which has steroids in it, was rubbed into the towel and their skin and on the mirror and toilet and tub. My daughter is angry, rightfully so, and we're all confused. So we asked all the kids who did it. It wasn't my youngest 3 because they said her stuff was put away in the cabinets like normal, and the actual youngest is 3 years old who gets bathed by her mother, and so my cousin's kids confess to having done it, and my wife and daughter are angry. So their mother was just watching us ask all the kids, and I asked her what she was gonna do about them. And she told me, they didn't do anything wrong and that they're just kids. And that she doesn't know what I want her to do about it. So I blew up at her and said, your kids are 13 and 11. Not fucking 3 and 1, and for them to do that is horrendous. Not only that, but I expect you to replace what they destroyed. The steroid cream is about $65 and the soap is about $30, while the towel was only about $10. But she got mad and said that I can't expect a single mother to pull $105 out of her ass like that. I then told her that I didn't care about her being a single mother and told her to take her kids home. And she did leave, albeit angrily. After that I got a couple of angry texts from her mother saying that the kids didn't do anything wrong and that she shouldn't be expected replace the stuff because she's a single mother. So am I the asshole for making them go home? Wow, not the asshole. Your cousin is not taking any responsibility for the fact that she raised 2 middle schoolers who ruin other people's property for fun. Keep insisting she replace the cream and soap. Your poor kid shouldn't have to suffer because she is a crappy parent. Edited to correct typos. Not the asshole. The biggest thing is that your cousin thought there was nothing wrong with her kids going through your cabinets and destroying other people's things. If she apologized, spoke to her kids, made them apologize, etc., and then told you she's struggling and can't afford $100, and you could, that'd be a different situation. But she didn't care at all. You shouldn't trust them in your house again. Not the asshole. You clearly did just about everything right. You let them in your home, gave them the things they need to shower, and they go waste the soap and cream for no reason. The only thing you could have done better was to put your daughter's cream, soap and towel away until they were done in the bathroom. Overall, you are not the asshole. Ah yes, the good old, I'm a single mother, excuse. Not the asshole. Not the asshole, and I wouldn't want to continue to associate with kids being raised like that or their spawn point. None of them are going good places in life. Not the asshole at all. Those kids are more than old enough to understand the concept of respecting other people's belongings. Would that behavior be acceptable at school? Absolutely not. They intentionally vandalized and destroyed someone else's belongings. It's definitely reasonable to expect your sister to replace them. She would be expected to pay for the items if they were destroyed in her home or in a store. Her children are also old enough to help with jobs around the house, yard, to work off what they owe to you and understand that it's a natural consequence of destroying someone else's belongings. Would I be the asshole for not letting my disabled sister use me as a physical support? My sister, 20F, is physically disabled. She's unstable on her feet and has a slower walk, and she gets tired easily. Where the problem comes in is that, whenever my sister feels unsteady or starts to fall, her reflex is to grab me to support herself and catch her balance. I get no warning when this happens, there's just suddenly a hand grabbing my arm or my shoulder. It even happens when she's sitting down on the couch or a bed. She'll scoot back, start to lose her balance, and then there'll be a hand on my thigh while she pushes herself back up. I'm tiny. I'm the second oldest child in my family after her, and I'm the shortest and smallest. My sister has at least 20 pounds on me and almost a foot in height. When she grabs me like that or uses me as a support, it almost knocks me over. It hurts. She also has a habit of rolling her mobility aid scooter over my foot or using my feet to hold it in place while she climbs on. Her excuse is that she can't move, while I can. But this happens when I'm backed into a corner. I just have to stand there with the wheel of a 45-pound scooter rammed into my foot until my sister gets on and starts going. Every time she runs me over, she says it's my fault for not getting out of the way even when she rams into me from behind. I'm really tired of being her brace. I understand that she's disabled, and that she can't help her unsteadiness. But I can't keep getting almost shoved to the floor because she's trying to stop herself from falling. I'm not stable enough because of my size to act as her support. I keep getting grabbed, pushed, shoved, and banged into. It hurts, and I'm sick and tired of it. Would I be the asshole if I told her to stop using me to support herself? Not the asshole. This is a rather upside-down situation where you're being abused by the person with the disability. She's literally running you over. People with mobility issues have lots of potential aids they can use, and your sister clearly has some of them. She can find ways to manage that don't involve constantly invading your bodily autonomy. Not the asshole. You are not responsible for her physical safety. Stop putting yourself physically in a position to be used like that. She can't do it if you are not physically close enough for her to reach. Your sister seems to be using her disability to be an entitled brat. If I were you, I'd make sure to stay 6 feet away from her at all times. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I have a disability with the exact same symptoms as your sister. Maybe we have the same one. And I would never do this, especially to someone physically smaller than me. She needs to figure out another way, walker, wheelchair, cane, etc. Cause otherwise she may injure you both by accident. Not the asshole. She keeps doing knowing it hurts you and does it purpose when in her scooter. That's abuse, disabled or not. She likes doing, or she would find a better way to handle herself. You need to keep your distance as much as possible. You also need to talk to your family. She hurting you regularly, there needs to be a cane or walker for her. Not the asshole. What would happen if you start vocalizing, loudly, whenever she hurts you? A loud, ouch. Each time she grabs you. My foot, my foot. Every time she runs you over? In public, and at home. Just to make everyone present aware of how often she hurts you. Am I the asshole for calling my brother a disgusting gross man at his daughter's birthday party? Throwaway. My brother, Paul, and I are not close at all. We have very different worldviews and have incompatible personalities. I can tolerate him, but I would never consider him a friend. He's been married to Lisa for 1 or 2 years now, and they have a beautiful daughter together. My girlfriend, Amy, and I were invited to celebrate my niece's first birthday. Most of the family was invited, and it would be the first time I would have seen them all together. I only see my family once or twice a year, with a few exceptions. Amy and I arrived a little earlier than we were supposed to, and instead of waiting in the car, we decided to go in. The first thing I noticed is how calm my brother seemed to be in contrast to Lisa, who was frantically running up and down. When he saw Amy, he immediately handed the baby over to her and got a beer to sit down and watch TV. Lisa was clearly struggling, and he was content with a beer and Netflix. I don't want to be rude, and maybe this was a one-time thing, but it bothered me how uninvolved he was. He handed Amy a baby with a full diaper with vomit on its clothes. Eventually Amy, Lisa and I finished everything. The house was clean, the food was ready, and Lisa looked ready to host a big gathering. We all paid zero attention to Paul. When my family arrived, I thought everything was going well. I avoided Paul and enjoyed speaking to my family. After we had sat down to eat, Paul approached me, drunk, thanking me for helping Lisa. I did not want to be around him for long and moved out of his way. He was very persistent. I was ignoring him, but he started talking about Amy. Protect Amy like a real man. Or, you've got a great woman by your side. You know what, whatever. It was slightly odd and mildly uncomfortable, but I was able to brush it away. Amy was trying to sober him up a little bit before the cake cutting, so she was selectively hearing. We tried to get him to stop talking and drink water. However, he had a lot to say about Lisa. He was complaining about how pregnancy ruined Lisa's body and how a baby ruined his life. Amy and I kept looking at each other awkwardly, and we were soon going to leave him be. We didn't leave the conversation soon enough. He was complaining to be about his sex life, or lack thereof, and commenting on how desperately he wanted to have sex with someone fit like Amy. This made the both of us extremely uncomfortable. Amy left, quickly apologizing to Lisa. I told him that he was a disgusting, gross man who needs some fucking help, before I left. Apparently, this made him super upset and he started wailing at the party. Paul told everyone that the reason he was crying was because of my words to him. He got over it quickly, but a few people told me I was wrong to shame a father on his child's birthday. I could have probably left without making a statement. Am I the asshole? Wrong to shame a father on his child's birthday. Father, lol, okay. Your brother could not be bothered to help his wife prepare for his child's party. One-time thing or not, that is not acceptable. He then handed his baby over to the first available woman to deal with a diaper and soiled clothing. During his child's birthday party he made remarks about how said child ruined his life, ruined his wife's body, and compared her now ruined body to someone he finds more attractive whom he'd prefer having sex with. His brother's girlfriend to put a cherry on top. You are not the asshole and he should be ashamed of himself. I hope Lisa figures out how to leave him. Not the asshole. You shamed and unsupportive misogynist at a child's birthday party. You should reach out to Lisa to see how she's doing. Is she okay with him talking about her like that? If she wants some help putting his stuff in boxes, that sounds like something to rally the people who care about Lisa over. Tell everyone what he told you, especially his wife. Not the asshole. Personally, I would have been the asshole after punching him in the face. You shouldn't shame a father on his child's birthday. Yeah, okay. What about the shaming the poor mother felt after busting her ass to host this party? Care for her child and then be humiliated by her crap excuse of a husband? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. I feel so bad for your Sil and Amy and understand how uncomfortable she must have been. Your brother is exactly how you described him. A gross man who seemed to expect his wife to handle everything herself while he complains about her physical appearance. Ew.